Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on the welcome back to another video on Team Flash. Yes, it seems like the writers have rebranded the show, so it's called Team Flash. And yeah, this is my rant review and breakdown for Team Flash Season 7, Episode 13, titled Masquerade. But just giving you guys my initial thoughts on the episode before I actually go more in detail into a review and breakdown, and obviously a massive rant, The Flash has delivered another bad episode. Yes, there were some good moments, but there were so many issues which I will discuss in more detail later on. But yeah, another filler episode just like last week, which had no connections at all to the Godspeed storyline. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, next week is also another filler episode, since that is going to be an Allegra centered episode, which I'm not looking forward to at all. I'm probably not even going to watch that episode if I'm being honest, because apparently Barry won't even be on that episode at all. But one thing which did keep me interested throughout this episode was the message they tried to convey, which was struggles with mental health, which is obviously a very important story that needs to be told, and I was glad that The Flash was exploring that, so that kept me interested. But oh god, the execution on the other hand was done so poorly during this episode. I put so much faith in Eric Wallace for this season because he nailed the show for season 6. For me, The Flash season 6 was the third best season of The Flash, just under season 1 and 2. He just gave such a good and compelling season with Bloodwork and then split with Eva McCulloch. He not only gave Barry a main focus, but he was also able to flesh out the other characters as well, which it was a perfect formula for the show. I absolutely loved that. But he hasn't been doing it for this season. Eric Wallace and the writers have both failed us this season. This is arguably the worst season of The Flash. I have never been so frustrated about a season of The Flash since season 5. This was arguably one of the worst episodes of the show as well. The amount of side character filler episodes we have been getting is just bonkers. We have all this emphasis on side characters, but nothing on our main character. Barry has not had his own episode yet. The main character is literally forgotten, and it's getting ridiculous. If we don't have Grant Gustin literally making a cameo for the Flash movie, at least he's having a cameo on his own show. How is the main character a side character on his own show? I just don't understand. This season, we had absolutely no character progression with Barry. He went absolutely nowhere. He never even defeated villains by himself. We have all these side character filler episodes, but our main character is not getting the same treatment. I'm just frustrated. It makes no sense at all. This season is not even The Flash. As I said during the start of this video, they should just rebrand the show and call it Team Flash, because there is nothing about The Flash this season. Yes, absolutely, we should get some side character stories, but at the end of the day, Barry Allen is your main character. He is The Flash, and the show is The Flash. So I wish we had more emphasis on Barry this season instead of just focusing on side characters. And honestly guys, I'm just waiting for the Godspeed storyline, because man, there's nothing which will be able to redeem the show besides that Godspeed storyline. Even then, season 7 will still be one of the worst seasons of the show, because 3 or 4 episodes cannot redeem a whole season. Other than episodes 1, 2, which I'm not going to count since those were part of the season 6 storyline, but other than that, episodes 4, 5, and 12 have been the only other good episodes this season. Every single other episode has just been trash. It's just so frustrating because I absolutely love this show. And to see it become something like this, it takes me all the way back to Arrow Season 4 days. The Godspeed storyline should deliver an Arrow Season 5 at this stage, or else Season 8 is going to have to do that. And if Season 8 flops just as bad as Season 7, oh boy, I don't even want to imagine what's going to happen. But yeah, for those who haven't seen the episode, then spoiler alert, because this is a review and breakdown after all, so you'll be hearing some major spoilers, which you certainly wouldn't want to hear from me. So if you haven't seen the episode, go watch the episode and come back later for this rant, review, and breakdown. And for those who are staying, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so this episode kicks off with Joe and Cecile going over some files about Kristen Kramer, and Cecile gives Joe this file which shows that Kramer's stories have not been adding up, and that there is something that she's trying to hide. And I just find this really interesting. This was like one of the best mysterious things which they've added onto the season. I absolutely loved it. Although it was a pretty short scene, it was very interesting, and I wish we had more of this spread out throughout the episode and less of the other things. But after Joe left, we have the camera zooming into Cecile's eyes, and we go into Cecile's mind, where we see the real Cecile trapped inside some like asylum prison. So yeah, the real Cecile is trapped. But we then have Chester settling into his workstation, and he's basically redesigning Cisco's workstation into his own. And I really loved how Chester was handled during this episode by making himself useful and going through these challenges he has been facing without Cisco. I thought this episode was great for his character. But yeah, Caitlin is surprised to see some differences as she walks into Chester's workstation, and then we end up getting this dance session where Chester was trying to get Caitlin to pretty much dance. I didn't think it was necessary, but again, this does seem like something Chester would do, so I just let it slide. But I really like Chester's involvement in this episode, as I said before. Now, adding on to the dance session, which I talked about earlier, although I did say I let it slide since it was something Chester would do, it was cheesy, and having that whilst also having a totally different tone between Barry and the Cecile stuff made the episode feel a bit out of place. I know this was during the start, but then the tone shifts later on, so that was something which I kind of had an issue with, but again, it was a pretty minor problem. It wasn't anything that big. But as Chester's dancing, the wires end up getting fried up, so Chester's gonna try and repair these wires, so he ends up going down to the, I'm just gonna call it the storage area because I cannot remember what they called it during the episode, and then we hear some weird noises, and we basically have Barry and Iris doing some funny business, let's say. They were doing their own business, and Chester walks in on them. Now, I did not get the point of this scene. Like, they definitely did not have to do that stuff in that room in Star Labs when they had so many other options to choose from. And it's just very unrealistic, which again, it's ironic because this is a fictional TV show, but you would never see that happen, especially in somewhere like that. Plus, Barry could have easily speeded Iris and himself out of there without Chester even noticing, but yeah, they just had to get caught. It was cheesy, and I didn't like this scene. It was very unnecessary, and it didn't make sense as well. But we have Barry helping Cecile out with her case, and this leads to fake Cecile making Barry pass out, and thus Barry wakes up inside Cecile's mind. And through Caitlin, we find out that if Barry sticks inside for too long, he will basically be stuck in a coma forever. So we had fake Cecile faking to analyze Barry just to get what she wanted, which was obviously Psycho Pirate's mask, and Chester was able to find some connections about this mask which fake Cecile talked about, and it was indeed Psycho Pirate, which honestly I didn't see coming. I thought it was just, a coincidence that the masks look similar, but yeah, it was a very interesting touch, and I did really like that. Now, we did find out that Roger Hayden is not in possession of the Psycho Pirate mask in Arkham Asylum, but it is now at a museum in Central City. And yeah, Team Flash are going after the mask. And we have Team Flash requiring a little bit of extra muscle, which then leads to the return of Sue Dearborn. Now, Sue was also a character which was handled pretty well during this episode, and it was just great to see her back. And we basically have Team Flash gathering together in the Cortex, and we basically have Chester telling Sue what she has to do. But the thing is, Sue is smart, and it does seem like she was slowly catching on to things, which was something I really liked. Now, one thing which caught me off guard was the scene between Barry and Cecile, where they talk about what's happening, and we get a flashback to episode 11, where we basically have Cecile getting zapped by that Sage Force lightning, and we find out that Cecile had been trapped inside that asylum, inside her own mind, for 2 weeks due to the Sage Force lightning. But from the control of the mask, which made no sense at all, how was the mask even able to do such thing where they literally control a force to attack someone? So that was not a very well thought out thing, and I really did not like that explanation. But yeah, Barry and Cecile are trying to plot their escape somehow, saying that Barry is powerless. So yeah, once again, Barry lost his speed for another season. They will just have to find a normal way out of Cecile's mind, in which they find this portal, but then it disappears, only to find a lady sitting at a corner. And we see it's an insane version of Cecile, which was pretty confusing. I was interested to know more about this backstory with Cecile because it seemed like something which was related to her memories. But yeah, Barry and Cecile are stuck back inside that prison, but escaping has now become a lot tougher. Now, we did have a pretty cool scene with Sue doing some ballet dance moves as she was avoiding the lasers. I just found it pretty cool. I don't know why. Yeah, she as well as fake Cecile are eventually able to acquire the mask. This is where Iris catches on to things and she finds out that Cecile is pretty much the villain of the episode. But it's too late. We have evil Cecile being able to put on the mask. Now we then have Team Flash discussing what happened after Sue tranquilized herself, because Cecile obviously used her powers to do so. We have Chester blaming himself about what happened. And yeah, Sue fully just throws the blame on Chester as well, which makes him really upset that he obviously screwed up. And this was something I liked once again. I really liked the character progression with Chester during this episode. We then have Cecile revealing to Barry what this place actually is and how this basically ties into Cecile and how she knows it so well. And it is because she was actually a patient there due to some traumatic experiences which she had when her mother died, and she blames herself for it. For all those years she's been suppressing those memories, although it's just been eating her up every single time. But yeah, the execution was horrible. I did find the story centered around mental health very interesting, but just the way they handled it was very, very poorly done in my opinion. But we did have Barry figuring out how they will escape this prison, and we get slapped with another pep talk. But unlike other ones which we've had during the season, this one actually was fitting, and Barry basically motivates Cecile to overcome those traumatic memories and basically just bust their way out of that prison. Now we did have Chester and Iris facing off Psycho Cecile, and Psycho Cecile basically planned on using DeVoe's chair so that she can take full control of the body so that she can amplify her powers. But I just found it unnecessary that she had to use DeVoe's chair for it. Like, she could have used anything else, but she just had to use DeVoe's chair. I don't know why. Was there something specific about it which I've missed? I don't think so. But yeah, be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if that was actually the case. I just felt like it didn't feel normal. And speaking of not feeling normal, we had Iris not only being experienced with a weapon, but that she can take cover and do some cartwheels. But the way Chester also delivered the final blow was very over the top, and this scene, I just did not like it. I wasn't a fan of it. This would have literally been the perfect time to have someone like Frost or Allegra engage into action, for example. But yeah, it is what it is. I really did not like this scene. But yeah, we have Cecile and Barry escaping from the prison as Cecile was able to defeat her evil self. And we find out that the mask will be taken to Argus and given to Cisco so that he could keep it safe and away from danger. And we do find out that Sue will be staying for a while, so it's great to see her stay. And I'm guessing she will be there for next week's episode, which I'm probably not even going to watch because I'm just not interested in the Allegra character at all. And once again, it is filler, so it's unnecessary. So I'm probably not going to watch it, but yeah, we'll see. But we then end off the episode with Joe and Cecile, where they talk about mental health. But then we find out that Joe was able to pick some dirt about Kristen Kramer, where she led her squad into an ambush, where she was the only one who survived, which was very interesting. I cannot wait to see where the storyline goes because it is very interesting and probably my favorite part of this episode. But overall, this episode was bad. I did not enjoy this episode, and The Flash really needs to pick itself back up because I'm honestly not happy with what they have been doing lately. And I will just give this episode a 4.5 out of 10. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought about the episode. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.